relative unknowns. Does Buttriff hold all the cards here in Vegas? The USBC Masters next. House in Vegas tonight for the fourth major of the PBA season. Welcome to the USBC Masters, and for a majority of our field, we say welcome to the bright lights of television. The Irishman, Chris Sloan, Canadian Mitch Hooper, Tennessee native Michael Holloman, all making their TV debuts, and none in our field of five have ever won a major. That fact will change in about 2 hours. Glad you're with us tonight. Rob Stone, the Hall of Famer, Randy Peterson with you. 3 storylines tonight. Number 1, 60% of our field has never bowled on television. Number 2, a week from tonight, live here on FS1, we kick off our months-long coverage of the PBA playoffs. 4 in our field have a chance to move above the cut line tonight. Third storyline, your number 1 seed, Jacob Buttriff, who's in the middle of his best ever season.
Yeah, we interviewed him last night, and that's what he told us. His best season ever on the PBA Tour. Captured title number 5 earlier this season when he took down Jesper Svensson using both reactive and urethane bowling balls. Did his second to Jason Belmonte at the World Championships. Come on! And this guy's been on fire. He's looking to throw his hat in the ring for Player of the Year consideration. In order to do that, he has to win his first major today. One thing I do know, Rob, his last 7 televised finals, dating back to 2017, he hasn't finished worse than second.
Amazing, and he fended off so many opponents yesterday through qualifying, doing it with a bad back. He went to social media, because that's what the kids do these days. They let you know about their ailments. And he was wandering the casino around 6 a.m. just trying to get his back loose. That was yesterday for the latest on your number 1 seed and how that back is doing. Here's Kimberly with Jacob.
Thanks, Rob. So, Jacob, we just saw the tweet you made about the injury you had to your back. Why don't you give us an update on how it's feeling?
It's not as bad as yesterday, but I'm still in a little bit of pain, but it's not going to stop me from bowling the style match today.
You think it's going to affect you today?
It might a little bit, but at the same time, I still got to go and put my fighting shoes on and give it the best I got.
All right, thank you so much. We will see you in the final match. Guys, we're going to send it back to you.
All right, Kimberly, thank you as we take a look at the format for the USBC Masters, and it's a unique one, Randy.
Yeah, it really is. 450 started this tournament with 15 games of qualifying, and then the field was cut to 63 plus the defending champ, Andrew Anderson. They would head into a double elimination match play, 3-game total pinfall matches. If you lose your first match at the Masters, you end up in bowling purgatory, down into the loser's bracket. You're there forever trying to make your way to the telecast.
You don't want to be in bowling purgatory.
No.
No, thank you. How about our oil today, my friends?
At 39 feet, this was designed by Nick Hoagland and the USBC. 39 feet in length. You can see how offset the left versus the right side is. But both lefties and righties are going to play the lanes fairly similar. They're going to play the extreme outside part of the lane, and you're going to see a lot of urethane go down the lane.
How would you describe the oil pattern for this one?
I think it's a little tricky, and the scores weren't all that great. We had 3 300 games, but keep in mind, we have 450 players.
You ready for this one?
I am.
I think we should be asking these guys. Mitch, Chris, are you guys ready for this one?
I don't recognize either one of these guys.
Trust me, I had my first introductions with both yesterday. Up first, the Canadian, 5-time and current Team Canada member, Mitch Hooper. That's how you start under the bright lights of Vegas and TV, kid. His first career televised appearance. Ditto for your 5 seed, the Irishman, who steps up now, Chris Sloan. Well left of target.
Yeah, well left of target, crosses over, just leaving the 6-pin. Chris, a 2-handed, no-thumb specialist. We know another guy that uses that same type of technique, don't we?
Another look at that technique. It's about 98% of the time. The 6-pin converted on the tour. Carolina Blue drops that one into the pit. A little party atmosphere here in Vegas tonight, Randy, as we take a look at our stepladder bracket. The winner to take on Jake Peters, Jakey boy. Michael Holloman is your 2 seed. Jacob Buttriff trying to win that elusive first major title as your number 1 seed. Can I give you a tease?
Sure.
About Chris Sloan?
Please.
You know who's in attendance tonight watching him bowl?
No, who?
Fair strike for the Irishman.
Nice shot. After that first one crossing over.
There it is. There's his mom, Barbara, flew in from Dublin to watch Sloaney boy bowl.
That's awesome.
Isn't that great? We
Yes.
talked about it yesterday. We'll have more on that next time he steps up. Back to Hoope, who struck in the first, looking for a second. Again, left to target.
Yeah, both players going high on that right lane. And one thing to watch in this match, we were watching Hoope warm up prior to coming on the air, and he fouled several times in practice.
Left himself the 3-6, picked up 90% of the time on the tour.
That's pretty hard to do when you're throwing it that straight at the 3-6 to chop the 3 straight back.
Major implications for 4 of tonight's 5 finalists as far as the PBA playoffs are concerned. This is the last event to get above the cut line. Hoope and Sloan, they both must get to the title match. Sloan has to win it. Same with Holloman, Peters, Hoope. If they get to the championship match, that will give them enough points to leapfrog those ahead of them to get themselves to Portland, Maine. Portland, Maine with a strong presence tonight. We're on that in a second. A strike there for Hoope, who, when he's not bowling, is the lead singer for the Bare Naked Ladies.
Hoop, there it is.
Absolutely.
I guess that's better than Hoope, there it is.
It's much better than Hoope, there it is.
There you see Chris Sloan's path to get here. Took out Corey Husted, the son of Dave Husted, Hall of Famer Dave Husted.
Right on target, but left the 10.
Better shot on the right lane, but not a good result. That was a pretty good shot for that ringing 10.
So we asked him about Mom, who's in attendance tonight. So we're taking another look at that shot. And I'm thinking, you know, I haven't seen Mom for a while. He's been away from home. I'm like, what was it that fired you up that Mom's here? I'm thinking a meal, right? She fired up something.
Yeah.
Like, no, just nice to hear somebody with my accent. That's it. Just want to hear that familiar Irish accent. Says it really helped lift him. The tour's been grinding him this year. Having Mom in the crowd, Mom in the house, watching him clean that spare, certainly helping him along.
Games under his belt, obviously, to get to this point. And so you kind of have a blueprint of what has to happen. First and foremost is scoring pace. You know, you kind of have it cemented in your brain that the scoring pace isn't all that high. And if I can just stay in the pocket, I've got a good chance of winning the game. I don't need to throw 6, 7, 8 strikes in a row.
Came in through the back door for that spare conversion.
Yep. Well, stayed on the lane and clipped the 10. As he goes back and talks to
I like the shape.
his tour reps.
Hoope destroyed that rack.
You see how much straighter that motion is because he's using regular urethane, whereas Chris Sloan is using reactive resin. So you see more of a snap with reactive resin, but a very dull finish to this bowling ball, and that's just to get it to read the lane. Remember, 39 feet, but there is heavy volume on this oil pattern.
Pair of strikes after that open frame for Hoope. He begins the 5th, down 1. You see how he qualified here, took down some big-time talent.
Yeah, especially late with Tom Barrett and Rhino Page.
Again, it's the 10-pin left behind.
It's becoming
a trend here, my friend.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Did you see the breaking news today, Randy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this happened back on the 23rd. Best bowler on the planet right now, Jason Belmonte. Look what happened to that middle finger right there at the crease. He was doing a youth event. Follow through. Didn't realize somebody was behind him.
Yeah.
Bare hand, smacked between two bowling balls. That's the result. It certainly impacted his bowling this week in Vegas.
Well, he couldn't use his middle finger, so he tried to bowl with his ring finger and his pinky. The only player to ever win the USBC Masters 3 consecutive times, and then took a year off and then won it a 4th right after that. So 4 out of 5 years he's won this event.
Get down. Getting both Sloan and Hoope making their TV debuts here in America. Both can max out at 247 through 5.
You gotta roll it. Just gotta get that roll.
Not all has been rosy for Mr. Sloan here in Vegas.
I was going to tease us going to break with
Carry
that.
on. No. You've been on a roll with your teases lately. So,
right.
So audience, just forget what I just said. Move on. You'll be surprised by something Randy has to say soon. That 6-step approach. It's all 10 down.
That time, 6-pin caves the 10 in. It's what he was looking for a little bit earlier.
The conclusion of Hoope Sloan when we come back. Randy, tease me.
Yeah, well, you know what? Very interesting thing happened to Chris Sloan that may have him alter his travel plans.
Oh, that's a tease. PBA on FS1 is sponsored by Go Bowling. For promotional offers, tips to improve your game, news, or to locate a bowling center near you, log on to gobowling.com. And by the United States Bowling Congress, creating competitive opportunities at all levels. As we build a future for the sport, visit bowl.com to learn more. Time now for our Flow Bowling Tournament highlights. Unique format here at the Masters. We picked things up in the losers bracket, Randy. Dom Barrett, our good friend, finished in 8th. Lost to Mitch Hoope, 692, 654. Also in the elimination bracket, Anthony Simonson, who now goes by the name of the Lumberjack. The Lumberjack. What a season he's having. Finished in 7th place. Fell to Kenny Ryan, though, by 30 pins. So that left Jake Peters, Mitch Hoope, Chris Sloan, and Kenny Ryan in the 4-man eliminator match. Sounds like something that's going to be at WrestleMania next week. 4 guys battling for 3 spots. Through the nose. Oh, got bailed out late. Just left the 4-pin. His best ever finish, 5th at an extra frame stop last season. Trying to improve on that tonight. Swings the 4-pin. Again, Hoope must finish 1st or 2nd to get himself into the PBA playoffs. And our coverage of the PBA playoffs kicks off 1 week from tonight, live from Portland, Maine. I have not been there yet for bowling. I am beyond excited. I feel like
Oh, boy.
I feel like they're my people.
I'm not sure if Portland, Maine's ready for Rob Stone.
I think they are. In fact, do you see the Portland contingent?
I do.
Over there behind Hoope on the left.
Yep.
They're bringing their game a week early. Pace yourselves, Portland. Pace yourselves. Back on the strike train is the Canadian.
And a great opening match. It's just one pin now separating Hoope and Sloan. All right, so as Chris Sloan gets set for the 7th frame, check out this shot by Mitch Hoope. Beautiful. So, Rob, do you want to hear my...
I would love to hear the story about this young Irishman, the 25-year-old from Dublin.
So he's on the strip a couple of nights ago, and his passport gets pickpocketed.
No bueno.
There's a double. Luckily, there is
There's
an Irish consulate
What
here.
do you think Mom has to say about that?
I wonder.
Say it with your best Irish accent what Mrs. Sloan would say to her boy, having found out he lost his passport.
Oh, laddie, laddie.
Almost kidding when he said those commercial breaks take some time.
So there's an Irish consulate here in Las Vegas,
Right.
and he's going to go and get a new passport.
Because he was looking forward to heading home.
Yeah.
You know, the PBA Tour has been a real grind this season,
Right.
a bit of a break in the action. And now he's locked and loaded in Vegas for a few more days, sounds like. Worst places to be, my friend.
Well, you know, if he runs the ladder today,
Wins it all. He's going to be in Portland
He's on
next
to
week.
Portland. It's only been done once in the history of the Masters. Running the ladder one time.
3 strikes in a row for Sloan.
You know who that player was that ran the ladder?
Man, Tom was not kidding when he said those breaks can feel
Jason
a little on
Belmonte.
my legs. Whew, that first
When in
one I got-
doubt, just guess Belmo, right? I should have known. All right, Hoope. Lead singer for Loverboy in his spare time.
What a match. I have a great story about Mitch Hoope.
Let's hear it.
Well, so he went to Wichita State from 2014 to 2017. Shocker, no pun intended. Right? Well, guess who he lived with for 3 months?
Justin?
Justin Romick, my old tour roommate and the winner of the 1994 U.S. Open.
You know what he had to say about Mitch? Not a big fan of his laundry skills.
Beauty there. One pin match again. He follows up Sloan's 3-bagger with one of his own.
Did he just... Yeah, 3 in a row. 3 in a row for Hoope, who's going to go do a Rush-esque drum solo in a moment. I'm getting all my Canadian music references out of the way early. Speaking of music, you know, one of my favorite artists, U2, one of the greatest exports ever from Ireland. So you go to Sloaney and you're like, hey, U2, right? He looked at me, he's like, nah, not his jam. If you're from Ireland, you have to love Guinness and U2, and that's it. And then they just stamp your passport. Yeah, welcome back, welcome home.
Makes sense.
Maybe that's what he needs to do at the consulate tomorrow.
Well, he really needed to strike here.
Sure did.
And now he is in jeopardy of losing the opening match to Mitch Hoope. Not to mention the fact that he's looking at the 3-6-10, which is a little nauseating at times.
Covers it nicely.
They can strike out now for 224. Mitch Hoope's max score 236.
See what kind of pressure Sloan can put on the Canadian. Most two-handers usually go with that 5-step approach. He likes the 6. There's a little more tempo to his game. Gets them all to drop.
We have a possibility of a tie as well if Sloan can strike out
was telling us yesterday about the buzzword in his game, patience. And if I had it earlier, I would have progressed a lot quicker. He seems to have acquired the patience, but you heard him a little bit earlier talking about how long those TV commercial breaks are and how they impact you, particularly that first time when you're bowling in front of the lights of television.
And he's the hook. Oh, man. Too many of those. This game for Chris Sloan, another violent ringing 10. He left one in the third, one in the fourth, and then that big one right there. So now, if he converts, Mitch Hoope needs 9 spare strike to win by 1.
Sloan covers that, takes a seat. At a minimum, it's always nice to see some fresh faces on the tour. Mom in attendance, coming all the way from Dublin to see Chris. Hoope. 9 spare strike to win. Must get to the title match to get to the PBA playoffs.
We have the possibility of a tie now. It looked like he kind of grabbed that one at the bottom, hit up on it, and the ball just hit the lane like it hit gravel. It just basically stopped its own tracks, went right through the nose. Now, he has to convert the 3-6, a spare which he chopped in the second frame, and then he must strike on the fill, and we will go to extra frames.
Takes care of the spare. Now he needs a strike, and we've got our first tie of the season.
Hard to believe it's taken this long. We've had everything else. Hey, are you going to tease our special guest when we go to break? Because we've got one coming up in the next game.
We'll let you do the teasing. You've really grown in that role.
Really?
Yeah.
But I like when you help me out, though.
Do you?
All right, must strike for Mitch Hoope.
Anything less than a strike, and Sloan moves on.
We have a tie.
All right, tied at 214s. This is great.
What a great match.
This is awesome. 4 versus 5 in a tie. Bonus bowling on FS1 live from Vegas. That's a big time strike, Randy. That is all kinds of pressure. There's a look at your roll-off rules.
Ladies and gentlemen, by USBC and PBA rule, this match must be decided by a 1-ball sudden death roll-off. Mitch Hoope is the higher seed and will have choice of starting lane and order. Each player will bowl 1 shot on the same lane. If the tie remains, they'll alternate lanes back and forth in the same order until the tie is broken. Mitch, you're going to start on the left lane. Ladies and gentlemen, Mitch Hoope is elected to start the roll-off on the left lane. Good luck, gentlemen.
Do I hear drums in the background, by the way?
Yeah, you do. He struck every shot but 1 on this left lane. That was in the 5th frame. All right, Chris Sloan now with a strike will move on. And anything less than 9, Mitch Hoope moves on. This is pressure that neither Mitch or Chris have ever felt, I promise you.
Again, Chris's mom, Barbara, in attendance, flew all the way from
left lane? Oh, sorry.
Dublin, Ireland, to watch her son bowl this week in Vegas. Now she's got a chance to see her son move on with a strike. Saloni boy moves on.
takes a lot of guts, takes a lot of talent. He stepped up and put the good touch on that one. Coming in light, carrying that light mixer. Yeah, late great Billy Whaley used to say, hit him thin and watch him spin. You know, we're coming back for our next match. We've got a special guest, pound for pound, the strongest ball on tour.
Do you want to make watching your favorite sport even better? All you have to do is click with the new Fox Sports app. Now you can stream every game from anywhere you are and watch exclusive videos. The new Fox Sports app. Download it from the App Store today. Grinding on the short track. The green flag drops at 2 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Again, that's this Sunday from the Bristol Motor Speedway on the short track. Take a look at our updated step ladder bracket. After that 1-ball roll-off, Chris Sloan, your 5 seed, has moved on to take on Jake Peters. Pullman and Buttriff waiting in the wings. EJ Tackett joins us live right now. Peters Sloan is our next matchup. Vegas didn't go the way you were hoping it would go, but we know we're going to see you in Portland, Maine in a couple weeks' time. But your thoughts on this upcoming match and some guys that most on the PBA tour, at least the fans out there, maybe aren't too familiar with.
It's going to be really exciting. Chris is coming off the win there with the roll-off. And Jake hasn't been on TV for a long time, but he does have some experience. He's got a lot of college experience, and I expect to see a good match between these two guys.
EJ, what's your opinion on reactive resin balls versus urethane? And I was told by an insider that one of the things that Jake Peters did all week long was he used super heavy surface on his bowling balls to purposely ruin the front part of the lane and create havoc for his opponents. It kept the scores down and gave him a chance because of his lower rev rate. He's probably going to do the same thing today.
I would assume so, and I know he threw a lot of urethane, and using the urethane this week, the pattern was so hard that the urethane was a good play just to keep the ball in play, right, and try to not split too much.
All right, spin around, call the action with us, EJ. By the way, congratulations on what's been a wonderful campaign for you so far this season. I know you've been painfully close to numerous shows. And
yeah,
you know,
it's
maybe not the way you think it's been a success, but looking at it from the outside, I know you've been in the hunt just about every week.
It's been a good year so far. All I got to do is just keep bowling the way that I've been and keep knocking on the door, and eventually things will go my way, and hopefully I can get a win.
Sloan starts us off with the strike.
One thing I'll say about Chris Sloan is he's a very small guy, even smaller than I am, but his presence is huge when he's bowling. He walks around like he's 6'3", and sometimes that can get in your opponent's head, I think. And this guy's bowled all over the world and won some events, and I expect him to keep bowling well.
You've got some collegiate ties with this young man, Jake Peters.
I never bowled collegiately.
That's right. I'm
so
sorry.
I don't.
I forgot. See, I just assume everybody went to Wichita State when I'm not thinking. Jake Peters, one tour title. First time we've seen him on TV this season. 29-year-old who now lives just outside of Vegas in Henderson, originally from Illinois.
Take a look at Jake Peters from the profile angle. High backswing. Not a big-handed guy, not a big rev rate guy. He relies mostly on accuracy, and you're going to see him as he wipes the oil off of that urethane bowling ball. You're going to see him play a very similar line that Mitch Hoope played last game.
And I think the key for Jake is to just stay within himself and throw good shots and not get upset or try to do anything different if he starts leaving some 10 pins.
Gets the ball to drop.
Good break.
That shot could have been there from him breaking the lane down a little bit with all that surface, because it looked like he might have missed it off his hand just a little bit there, but was able to pick up.
You just saw Jake's wife, Melissa, in attendance. His uncle, Dan, Aunt Gina here as well. One of the perks for Jake, he said this week, got to spend every night in my own bed. Yeah, rare for you guys on the tour.
That's always a bonus. One thing Chris did say in between matches here is he was talking to Kimberly, and they said that the right lane was hooking a little bit more than the left. And that was very apparent all week, where one lane was a little bit different than the other. And there was a lot of pairs in here that were, each lane was way different than the other lane. And I think it just comes from topography that this building has.
You think that's why Jake Peters chose to finish on the left lane?
It very well could be. The front part of the left lane might not hook as much as the right lane, and he probably wants to make Chris finish there. So that way, Chris has to deal with the hook in the front, and Jake doesn't.
So with that heavy surface that is typically used with urethane bowling balls, the front part of the lane dries up first, and then it pushes oil down towards the pins.
Correct, which forces you farther left, but then you're throwing more angle into the oil that's down lane.
Strong start for Sloan through 3.
I don't think I have an issue with using my speed to get it through that as well. What you think? Instead of making the move, what's your thoughts? Those are your two options.
Likes the left lane, and I think most of the players tonight are going to say the same thing about that left lane.
Again, Sloan talking to his tour rep over there.
It was Tim Mack on the left and Steve Jacobs on the right.
Jake Peters, back-to-back opening jacks, looking to make it 3. That's left. Still almost got the 10.
Nice break just leaving the 10.
And even though Jake, I feel like, has a lot of experience, this is only his second TV appearance.
Yeah, exactly. How much of that shot, EJ, do you think is residue from the shot before where he went real light on the left lane?
It could be a little bit. Just, it's like the autocorrect.
Right.
Even though, you know, they think the right lane hooks more, it's that little bit of autocorrect that just hit up on a little bit, make sure you don't do that again.
Jake takes care of that one. He's got a birthday coming up April 6th, which is going to lead to a certain trip, Kimberly.
It sure is. This is a fun story, guys. So back in December, Jake's wife, Melissa, planned a surprise trip to Hawaii for his 30th birthday, which she mentions is on April 6th. But after she realized the Masters final will be held on a Monday and not on the usual Sunday airtime, she was forced to tell him about the trip. And as a precaution, Jake said, book the flight out on a Tuesday just in case I make the show. And good thing he did that and he had the hindsight, because today he's in the finals and going for his first ever major championship.
And by the way, she's the bowler of the family. An All-American at Wichita State, Melissa. Mixed doubles, they must crush it here in Henderson and Vegas.
I don't want to bowl that team.
I know, right?
I'll take Natalie against just about anybody, but that would be a tough team to go up against.
How about Jake Peters being the oldest player on the telecast today?
At 29 years old.
Yeah.
Just a few days shy of 30.
Whether you believe it or not, I've actually had that happen. That was a great shot there from Jake.
It really was. Snapped the 10 out.
And he came back after throwing a little mixer on the lane before, and having the little autocorrect on the right lane. He came back and threw a really, really good shot.
Again, for Chris Sloan, one of the underlying storylines here is he must win here to get himself into the PBA playoffs, which start next week on FS1. I love that follow through.
He's feeling it a little bit right now.
Usually you see a player do that, Rob, when they really like the ball out of their hand, and it's instant feedback in our sport. You know, as soon as the ball leaves your hand, you know if it's really good or if it's really bad.
Like you said, he instantly liked that shot.
And you talk about the possibility of him getting to Portland, Maine, but having to climb the ladder to do that, which would be his first ever title. The last time a player won a major for his first title was Andrew Anderson, last year's Masters.
Yeah, and it's possible we could see that again today. And we're going to see a first-time major titleist. So it's going to be a great day for somebody.
Oh, that messenger slid in the back door, couldn't knock it down. So, look, the outside bowling folks are going to say it's a major. We should be seeing the quote-unquote best of the PBA, yet it's essentially one guy we know and 4 no-names.
Right.
Why is the Masters so different, and it seems to open the door for some of these other pros?
It has a lot to do with the format. Just because you can bowl a good set, you can come out and bowl 750 the best you can, and somebody might bowl 760. In the match right next to you, somebody might win with 580. So there's a lot of luck that goes into it. Obviously, you have to be very, very skilled to get to this point in the tournament, but you need some breaks along the way. And it's all about when you bowl somebody, maybe on a certain pair with topography like here. There's a lot of things that go into what goes on to make this show.
You're listening to EJ Tackett. Do you like this format?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes,
when you do well on it.
Exactly. I've had some good years. Last year I bowled really bad, didn't make the cut. Had a bad last day this year, didn't make the cut again.
That's a pretty good break, by the way. I have a question. I have a question for you, Jake. With all that you've said about the format in this event, how impressive is it that Jason Belmonte won it 4 out of 5 years?
It's hard to put into words into that, because this is the easiest, hardest tournament to win, just because of the format. Because you could have a road that's easy, but you can also have a road where everybody bowls 720 against you. We've seen it before where guys come in and bowl 750, 750, and they're going home.
Yep.
And one guy bowled 620, 620, and he's in the winner's bracket still. So
wrong guy at the wrong time in the wrong pair, and you're done.
So it literally is the easiest and hardest tournament to win, I think.
Strikes in 4 of his first 5 frames. Jake Peters. Gets low and gets it to kick.
All breaks going his way right now. Just coming off of Brooklyn on the right lane. He takes that Brooklyn and turns it into a 3-bagger.
He's won once before. We'll show you that when we return. Peters looking to get back to a championship match. Peters, Sloan, the conclusion next on FS1. Uh-oh. You know who's here tonight?
I do.
Mrs. Hambone and the Hambonettes. Yeah, they're there. They've been properly served enough sugar. They all made their signs, and they're happy to be on TV. Chandler, Ciara, Carson, Camden. Yeah.
That's a handsome family, Mr. Stone.
That's a lot of kids, man. That's a lot of kids in Vegas on spring break taking in bowling. Here's your Columbia 300 fun fact. There were 450 entrants in this year's USBC Masters. My kids were not part of that 4. The record number of entries for this event, though, came in 98. 625 bowlers competed at the National Bowling Stadium in Reno. 625?
A lot of bodies.
Seems like a lot of humans.
You got to have a lot of room for bowling balls.
Jeez, oh,
I can't imagine the amount of bowling balls that were at that tournament.
That is insane. 625. Wow. We're down to our final 4 here, keeping you up with that March Madness theme. And Chris Sloan, your 5 seed, taking on Jake Peters, your 3 seed. Sloan down 20, working on a spare. Gets his 4th strike of the match.
That's a great shot out of break. He mentioned earlier how long the breaks were, because this is his first time on a TV show like this. And those shots out of break are sometimes the hardest ones, because you've been sitting there for a few minutes. You had to ponder about what's going on in the lanes, and then to get up and throw a good shot like that is fantastic.
Pretty good hand at the bottom of the swing there.
Oh, absolutely.
So now Sloan slides over to the left lane. He's gone strike, 9 spare on the left. Blows that rack up. Well, he's dialed in now. Mom enjoying that one.
I think Chris enjoyed that one.
Yeah, 100%. But he takes a seat. Jake Peters, though, up 10. His effort here in the 7th, working on 3 straight.
Did you guys see the look that Chris gave Jake on his way back?
Part of that intimidation project, you're saying, how he plays bigger than he looks?
Absolutely.
It doesn't have anything to do with the Brooklyn trip 4? Back-to-back?
Probably has a little bit to do with it as well.
Yep.
But Chris is in that state. You know, he's just letting Jake know that he's not going anywhere right now.
And he's Irish. I mean, what's the one thing you never want to do with an Irishman?
Get in a fight?
Exactly.
There's a couple other things I probably don't want to do with an Irishman either.
Go, baby!
Nice cover.
That's not an easy spare.
Not at all.
Anytime, let alone being on TV.
Yep.
Back in 2013, it was the PBA Badger Open in Wisconsin. Jake, in his first TV appearance, took care of the 1 seed, Josh Blanchard. Take a look at Josh's pants, by the way, in the background.
Those are sharp. I like
Yeah, 245, 212. Those are those pajamas or their pants?
Oh, no, those are pants. Yeah. Plaid. I think they're plaid, aren't they?
Jake's only PBA Tour title to date.
That was on a real long pattern, too.
52 feet.
Yeah.
He only averaged a mere 255 to take that title.
Oh, yeah, Messenger did a cartwheel to knock it down. Momentum back to the Peters camp.
Watch the 9-pin. Ball goes right by it. Tell you what, a lot of good things going his way in his opening match. But Chris Sloan with a strike here can take the lead.
Remember, Sloan advanced courtesy of that 1-ball roll-off against Hoope. He struck. Hoope only had 9. Sloan, your 5 seed, must win to get to the PBA playoffs. And it does.
Oh, my.
Wow.
That came all the way back from Henderson.
Is that ironic that that's where Jake is living now?
Yeah, I'm glad somebody kind of...
That's why he said it, EJ. Come on, man. Play along with us.
Oh, it's good stuff. Chris taking a re-rack here on this lane. Max score for Chris Sloan, 259. Max score Jake Peters, 256. Big shot coming up here in the 9th frame. If he strikes here, he can't be shut out.
You always want to be able to get up in the 10th and have a chance, no matter what your opponent does. So this is huge.
And especially after getting it a little wide on that right lane and the ball just wheeled back.
Absolutely. Which might make this shot a little bit harder because this lane's had a little bit more push in it. Oh, my.
He does not get that same trip 9. Jake Peters just got on that same lane. What an unbelievable bad break for Chris Sloan. Watch the ball go right by it and no help.
That pin was coming exactly the same way
Right?
Jake's came over, just not in the right location.
Got to have the breaks, particularly at a major.
Yeah, and you got to have not have the bad breaks like Chris just had.
Six strikes and now 3 9 spares for the Irishman.
Jake Peters, strike in the 9th. First ball strike in the 10th. He will move on.
There's Jake's arsenal. There's the purple hammer urethane.
EJ, how much surface do you think is on that ball?
I'm pretty sure he probably started with like a 500 or 1,000 pad. And then obviously just it wears as you throw it down the lane, but it's probably what he started with.
He liked that as soon as he let go of it.
The early fist bump
Right? You saw it?
by the arrows.
That was like real early fist pump.
Wow.
And he calls for a re-rack as well.
We don't see that very often. Watch this. The ball barely gets out of his hand. Fist bumping already.
yeah.
Oh, confidence.
That ball
Wow.
wasn't halfway down the lane.
He's been playing with motivation all week, guys. Last year, he had to withdraw from this event due to the passing of his grandmother. He said it was a driving force this week. I needed to do well this week for Grandma Pete. And that is her name, Grandma Pete. She doesn't sound like it should be the name for a grandma. Should be a grandpa, but Grandma Pete. Right now, upstairs, cheering on Jakey boy.
Target.
1 tour title. Strike here, and he moves on.
Target.
Well, he needs to throw a double just to keep his TV average up. Oh, my goodness.
What a late kick. He moves on.
When it's your day,
It's your day.
It's certainly his game. The Brooklyn strike, the trip 4, and now it's the trip 9, and then the trip 4-9.
I don't know who took down the 9. You see in the background, Sloan is just shaking his head.
there's not much you can do at that point.
It's all over but the shouting. That's what my dad used to say to me. Great shot, baby. Oh, he's on a roll right now. Oh, my goodness.
Still averaging 250 on TV.
Little hand bone here to Major. Peters rolls on. EJ Tackett, thanks for joining us. Look forward to seeing you in the coming weeks in Portland, Maine with the PBA playoffs. You're one of the seeded gents who've got to buy. EJ, thanks, man.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks,
See you
EJ.
soon, bud. Match number 3 on the way. Jake Peters rolls on in Vegas. MLB doubleheader for you Saturday here on FS1. First up, Mike Trout, the Angels, taking on the Rangers at 4, followed by Chris Bryant, the Cubs, meeting Christian Yelich and the Brewers, only on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Time now for this week's Ebonite Flashback. We go back 30 years, Randy. The '89 Masters event held in Wichita. Mike Albee struck in 7 of his first 9 frames and then survived a nervous moment in the 10th.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been nervous just based on the guy he was bowling against.
Who's that?
Some guy named Edwards.
There he is, Mike Edwards. Mike, I love looking at these pictures. I love looking at these old pictures.
I know.
So the story is Albee, but for Randy and I, the story is Mike, who has been. What are you? You're a statistician. You're our scorekeeper. He's like, there he is. There's a live shot of Mike. He's right over. He literally holds my hand through every bowling telecast. He's like, Rob, this is what this means. This is what happened. Can we get another look at the hair? Mike, can we bring that hair back?
He had some great hair back then.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Sam's the lucky lady, isn't she? Mike does not want any part of this. I'm sorry, I didn't give him a vote.
I'll tell you what he's really great at, too, is all the intel that we get.
Goodness.
He's not just
just
writing numbers down.
I don't know what we would do without him.
I know, right?
I honestly don't know what we would do without him. All right, here we go. Here's our semifinal match, 2 versus 3. That's Jake Peters. Took care of Chris Sloan by 29, had 9 strikes, including 4 straight starting in the 8th. Gives himself a little pep talk. Our Portland fans in the background, stylish, enjoying the night. Again, Peters must get to the title game to get to the PBA playoffs next week in Portland, Maine. Water bottle. When in doubt, walk out. And boy, he got some great breaks in our second match. How about the pin action for Peters?
Yeah, well, 5th frame, Brooklyn followed up with a trip 4 in the 6th, and then trip 4-9 in the 10th. He's comfortable now, Rob. Very comfortable.
He's got a deathly gaze as well to go with it.
He's definitely in the zone. I know that's a terrible term to use, but I don't have anything else.
All right, let's say hi to Michael Holloman. Cullerville, Tennessee, just outside of Memphis. He is a PBA Rookie of the Year candidate. He's your 2 seed, and he has 0 tour titles. If he wins, he's in to the PBA playoffs. And the lefty whips that one in and drops them all.
Our first of 2 left-handers, our tournament leader, Jacob Buttroff, the other, and a nice start.
Randy, what pin went flying from the right side to the left? Is that the 6, the 10?
The head pin.
The head pin. Wow, that did
think
some
it was
traveling. Yeah,
definitely the head pin, yeah. Could you imagine if the 7 pin was up and that messenger came flying across and took it out? Right, just straight to concussion protocol.
Amazing. The guys on the tour these days just bowl with so much force.
It's a power game.
joined the PBA event this year. His first event was the doubles event in Oklahoma. Oh, what a fortunate messenger delivery.
Yeah. So the left-hander's equivalent to the 4-9 would be the 6-8. Watch the 6 get rolled late. Right there.
Take that 6-pin.
Both players using the same bowling ball. That purple hammer, urethane.
96% of the time, this 8-pin is dropped. Talked about that big field traditionally at the USBC Masters, filled with some amateurs, tons of pros as well. You take a look at the averages to make the cut. Only 19 amateurs made the cut.
See some of the names of our biggest names on tour that didn't make the cut.
And again, a unique format here. And again, it's Peters backing out. Just like the last match, he opens up with back-to-back jacks.
Hey, you heard him say it. Good shot, Jakey boy. And it was. Look at that scowl.
Great frame.
He's locked in. He's feeling really good about himself and what he's doing, and he's making some pretty good shots. He's gotten some nice breaks, and he's got a real good idea of what the oil pattern's giving him. And there, once again, you see Michael Holloman's arsenal, purple hammer urethane.
We mentioned he joined the PBA Tour just this year. We said, well, why? He said, I've been talking to my EBI reps. Said it was always a dream to go on tour. Everything this year seemed to be within driving distance of his home just outside Memphis. So he said, let's do it. Yep. And he's doing it right now.
Well, he got real close making a telecast in Detroit about a week and a half ago, Rob.
Finished 5th at the Cheetah Championship.
How that foot gets to the foul line way ahead of the ball, and he comes up off of his heel. He's not getting cheated at the release point, that's for sure.
We asked him what he did before he went pro. Bowled a lot of amateur events. Your first line, big action player, brackets.
Yeah.
But bowling has been his job for years. Now it's his job on the PBA Tour. And the lefty. He's got some work to do here. 247.
Both misses coming on the left lane for Michael Holloman, the lane he chose to finish on.
It's the first time he's bowled the USBC Masters. And here he is as your 2 seed.
A little airtime underneath that spare shot.
Target, buddy.
Again, Jake Peters must get to our title match to get himself into the PBA playoffs, which begins next Monday night live on FS1.
Pretty good, Jakey boy.
Jakey boy liked it. He's got great tradition on his resume. Won 3 national team championships at that powerhouse in Wichita. Is that Mr. Blanchard there on the right? Yeah, there he is up front and center as well.
Nathan Bohr on the left, John Zerbinski.
Target, Jakey.
His wife, Melissa, in attendance tonight, an All-American. Boy, she knows when the camera's on her, doesn't she?
Yes, she does.
She gave Jakey boy a little pep talk not too long ago. He said, like, the last 6 years, I've been in quicksand. Won early, then stumbled all over myself. Before you know it, it's been year after year after year since I've been able to celebrate like that on the tour. And Melissa said, quit your complaining and work harder. And he's done it. He's put in more practice time, starting at 8 a.m., going 4 to 5 hours instead of that 1 to 2 hour session. He's shown greater commitment. It started right around the World Series, and now it's paying off for Jakey boy.
So you're basically saying she broke a foot off.
She broke a foot off.
Yeah.
What does that mean? I think I got an idea what it means.
She got after him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what does the foot have to do with it?
It's usually placed in a certain area to inspire people.
Inspire.
Yep.
All right. Well, a good wife will do that. Holloman. Oh, again. Some late drops make this a very makeable conversion. It was looking ugly for a moment. Head on over to PBA.com. You can check out all the latest officially licensed PBA apparel and merchandise. They got the hashtag Chasing 300 and the 3/4 sleeve t-shirts, PBA retro line, a host of other really unique and good looking designs. Get shopping today. Head on over to PBA.com. Click on the Shop PBA link on the main menu.
Oh, yeah!
Have some of that 6-pin. Very kind, mild-mannered Southern gentleman was Holloman.
Yeah, he's a nice kid. Very
Respectful.
yeah, absolutely. He was a pleasure to talk with yesterday when we interviewed him.
He didn't think the success was going to quite come this quickly either.
No. He didn't start until we were in Oklahoma City, Shawnee. And that's when he picked the tour up.
Drop that one in and hammer them all in the pit. Michael Holloman in a good one with Jake Peters right now. The winner to take on your 1 seed, Jacob Buttriff, for the USBC Masters title.
Mike Trout, the league's best player.
He can steal bags. He drives in runs. He's unbelievable.
We got to get Mike Trout to the playoffs. Yes.
The Milwaukee Brewers finally beat the Cubs.
I think the Cubs get right back where they want to. Bryant's going to be healthier. Mr. Consistent, Rizzo.
Watch out for the Cubs.
Randy, you know what happens in Vegas? Stays in Vegas.
Right.
You know what happens in Vegas sometimes? Folks get married. We got newlyweds. There they are from Redlands, California. They got married in Neon Chapel today. This is how they're celebrating their first night as a married couple. Their family back in Redlands doesn't know, but they do now.
That's awesome.
Congratulations, you two. That is awesome. Thanks for spending your wedding night with us. Hopefully it'll get better from here.
You mean better than spending it with you and I?
I mean, you could do worse.
How does it get much better than that?
You could do worse. You could do worse, my friend. You're right. Semi-final match of the USBC Masters, the 4th major of the season. Majors just carry so much more prestige, more value, more pressure. Peters has handled the pressure well, but that one got away from him.
Tough lead, too. Now he's got the 3-6-10 with the 9 sitting behind it. He made something similar to this in the last match, 7th frame, when he left the 3-6-9. This time at the
66% of the time, this one is converted. Far from a gimme. Oh, boy.
Yep. Easy to do. Takes the 3 and the 9 straight back, and it's an opening for Holloman.
Now, this is going to be your hammer tough spare replay. And it's not always the spares that you make on the hammer tough spare replay. It's the ones that you miss that sometimes really can come back to bite you. Jake's lead at 2, but Holloman waiting in the wings, working off a strike. Let's see what Jake has to say to himself.
Nice shot there by Jake Peters in the 7th, and I'd like to take a moment to send our well wishes out to the McWilliams family. Friend Jamie McWilliams lost his father Ed Thursday. Ed, huge bowling supporter, started the TAT, which stands for True Amateur Tournament, which is now run by his son Jamie. Great friends to the sport of bowling, and they do a lot for the sport. Our condolences go out to the McWilliams family.
4th strike of this match for Michael Holloman.
Very unusual start for Michael. Watch this first step as it drifts way to the right, and that gets that second step to follow it. Beautiful backswing there as that ball gets real vertical, and you can see how much upper body lean he has. And look at the right arm in front of the face and the head, and this is what he can do and do quite well, is loft it.
That was your track technique. Holloman looking for his first 3-bagger here of the semis. And he finds it.
And just like that, Michael Holloman takes an 18-pin lead.
Turkey for Holloman wins by 18 pins, 8th grade.
Max score now for Michael Holloman, 249. Max score for Jake Peters, 241.
Oh, 8, 9, 10.
Good shot, JP. Good shot, buddy. Wow, I overmoved.
Well, he liked it as soon as it left his hand, Rob, and you heard him say it was too big of an adjustment. So as he's moving, and he's going to move to the left with his feet and his target.
Good shot, JP. Good shot, buddy. Wow, I overmoved.
And the reason why is he's trying to get away from the dry part of the front part of the lane, move into some fresh oil. He just moved too far. Another tough lead. Remember last time on this lane, he left at 369.10.
Converts that one. That was borderline mandatory.
He's in trouble now. Back score down, 221. Michael Holloman with a strike in the 9th will be in the high 220s.
So we start the 9th. Peters must win this match to get himself to the PBA playoffs. Holloman must win the title match to get to the PBA playoffs, which starts next week in Portland, Maine.
And one person very interested in the outcome of this tournament, Darren Tang. He's on the bubble right now at 24.
Last man in, Darren Tang.
Oh, man.
10-pin denies Peters.
Holloman just needs to keep it on the lane, get good count and mark in the 9th and 10th frame. He's going to bowl for the title. Really good shot here by Jake Peters. Wow, got off to such a great start too in this match. We went double, 9 spare double. Missed a tough spare, struck in the 7th, came back with the bucket conversion in the 8th. Now he's going to need some help.
Great frame.
Is that Mike Kaufman?
That is.
There's Mike, Director of Bowling Operations for Boyd Gaming, in attendance. Who's right next to him?
That's the president of Storm, Bill Chrisman.
Bill's a good dude, man.
He is. I'll tell you what, that Mike Kaufman is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Got a chance to know him over the years, play golf with him. Great dude.
Holloman, your 2 seed, up 19.
It's okay. 9 spare works.
As long as you get the spare part.
Exactly. 9 spare, 9 spare, 9. It's game over. He just needs marks and good count. Looks down at the foul line. Doesn't target at the arrows. It's more traditional to look at the arrows, maybe just a little past the arrows. We see a lot of young players, a lot of new players looking at the foul line or targeting at the foul line. Made famous, at least the first time I noticed it was when we watched Wes Malott for the first time.
Going to see the big nasty coming up soon with the PBA playoffs as well. We're unabashed fans of Wes Malott, by the way. And how about this kid, right? I mean, talk about out of nowhere. You know, the PBA Tour had to kind of dig to create a bio on Michael Holloman.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was created by what we were asking him yesterday. First year on the tour, no tour titles, closing in on a title match at a major. And the walk away and the fist pump. Holloman can taste it, and he's getting closer and closer to being the PBA Rookie of the Year as well.
And he's going to bowl Jacob Buttriff for the title. It's going to be Southpaw versus Southpaw. But a great week for Jake Peters. He's one of the nicest players you'll meet out on this tour, and I'll tell you what, he's got a lot to be proud of, and he's got a lot to build on moving forward.
That's the time to unload.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Holloman will take that, and he... PBA on FS1 is sponsored by Go Bowling. For promotional offers, tips to improve your game, news, or to locate a bowling center near you, log on to gobowling.com. And by the United States Bowling Congress, creating competitive opportunities at all levels. As we build a future for the sport, visit bowl.com to learn more. Standing room only crowd here in Vegas. There's your 1 seed, Jacob Buttriff. He's used to being in title matches as of late. See his last 6 TV final appearances. He's either won it or been your runner-up.
Yeah, his last U.S. Open runner-up, he lost to Dom Barrett by a pin.
He's been a top seed for all those, except for the World Championship. And there he is.
He's going to finish on the right lane. And maybe that's why, because he looks like he just got hit by lightning.
Look at that
beyond shocked.
What is happening?
Yeah, this one crosses over, carries the 8-pin late, but it's the shock is not because the 8-pin fell late. It's because the ball hooked that much.
Yeah, raise the shoulder. Just take it, man. Walk away, take your strike. Holloman. 217-199 over Peters in our last match. Looking for his first ever tour title. The native from just outside Memphis. It's the ball to drop. He's got himself a nice little game, man.
He does. And he does something that you don't see a lot of southpaws do, and that's loft it. I think the last time I saw a lefty lofting, it was probably Rhino Page. That was big loft.
Oh. Bad result.
Sometimes when you loft the ball, you stay in it a bit too long, or you hit up on it, and that causes the ball to go high.
One more look at the loft.
Trying to get the ball not to hook early, and remember we saw Jacob Buttriff cross over on that left lane.
Was after the 6 and missed it.
That was close.
Okay, early hole dug. And Buttriff benefited from an odd-looking strike in his first effort. The more conventional strike. Chad Murphy, the USBC Executive Director, taking in this tournament. Look at all those dignitaries on that front row. Tom Clark, commissioner of the PBA there as well. How about the gang of misfits there in the back? Our friends from Portland.
Gang of misfits?
I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah, I know.
3 in a row to start this title match for your 1 seed, Jacob Buttroff. A win here for him tightens that Player of the Year race and makes that U.S. Open very interesting. And these guys are just getting warmed up for next week in Portland, Maine. We import it. Like, when does Vegas need to import energy and quality and entertainment? But guess what? They had to this week. And some of Portland's finest. Oh, what happened there?
That was a little filthy, a little anger behind that one. After that split in the second frame, Jacob Buttroff off to a great start, applying pressure early is exactly what you want to do to a young player like Michael Holloman. Big shot coming up for him here because he can cut the deficit to 14, but he has to double. Working on a strike here in the third.
Left lane's the one that gave him problems in the second.
So the front part of the lane starting to hook because of the surface, or the amount of surface that Michael has been using. Jacob right on top of that same spot with the same amount of surface. So the roughness of the texture of the bowling balls is just wearing this oil pattern out in the front part of the lane.
Walkaway takes care of that one. So strike open, strike 9 spare for Holloman. Here's your 1 seed, Buttroff. Here's how he got to our title match.
Beat some pretty good players. A lot of those matches that he won, he didn't win by very many. He had a lot of close matches, and again, that's the beauty of the format at the USBC Masters.
3-time member of Team USA. He's done it 3 straight years, 17, 18, and 19.
Very interesting shot we just got there of Jacob Buttroff's style as he continues to slide as he's releasing the bowling ball.
That leg curl to kick that one in.
Something you don't typically see with a power player, Rob. I meant sliding and the ball arriving at the same time.
It's such a unique approach.
It really is.
It's like a waddle, right? I mean, it makes me think of a penguin at times and the opening looks. And there's no way if you're a bowling coach out there, you're saying, hey, watch Jacob, and now he walks up there. This is how you got to do it, right?
Well, you know, they said the same thing about Emiliano Monicelli when he first came out on tour. It's like, hey, you've got to change your game. You can't bowl that way. 21 titles later, Hall of Fame credentials.
And it's not just Jacob's approach to the foul line.
Right. I mean,
it's everything that goes beyond that as well. How he holds the ball and the release is bizarro.
He runs to the foul line. He rolls his wrist halfway around the other side of the ball. He slides as he's letting go of it. And watch this is completely different. Watch how Michael Holloman's right foot comes to a complete stop before the ball gets to the bottom of the swing.
This will be his best ever finish on the PBA Tour. Again, this is his first year as a pro. A little loft, and all 10 in the pit.
Right lane good, left lane not so much for Michael Holloman. He needs to figure it out and figure it out now, because the last thing you want to do is let Jacob Buttroff start striking and have no pressure put on him whatsoever. You got to give him something to think about.
And it starts here on that left lane that has been so problematic for him so far here in our title match. Another look at your 1 seed, Buttroff trying to win his 6th ever title and first major. There he goes.
Well, it was still high, Rob, and he gave that one a little extra airtime.
Had a more resounding thud on the landing.
He goes over and talks to his tour rep, Sean Ryan.
I think if you go one more with your feet, you're going to be okay.
Rob Gottschall and Mike Snellbaker are over there. There's Mike Snellbaker.
Your one seed, Buttrick, to max out at 279. Somebody did a double flip behind that. Just missed the 6.
Well, that's a nice break for Michael because it kind of keeps him in the ball game. Now that he's working on a double, Jacob didn't double up there.
Don't want to jinx anything here. But
oh, you're gonna bring that up?
Single pin spare conversions have been a problem for Jacob this season.
Yeah, but only on the left side of the lane. Like the 7 or the 4-7.
I'm just saying, in my book,
right?
And you know better.
I hear you.
If you have problems, it doesn't matter where that pin is. You mentally have some issues.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, the test is when he leaves a 7 pin.
Right.
And that'll tell us if indeed it's still in there or if he's moved past it.
3 times he's been the bridesmaid at a major trying to win his first. Up 23. We start the 7th.
He looks to me like he's ready to win his first major.
I think so. Let's take a look at the strike track as we compare Buttrick and Holloman in their approaches.
Buttrick, the red ball, Holloman, the black ball. Launch position, that's lay down at the foul line, and then you can see their arrow position, about a board and a half difference, and about a board difference at the break point. And there's their entry angle into the pins. He liked that one. As soon as it left his hand, you can see him trying to walk it out.
When we're done here in Vegas, our friends at the MLB Whip Around studio, Dontrell Willis, Chris Myers, the big hurt Frank Thomas, Vegas guy. Frank is.
I just know him from Nugenics.
My gosh, does he push that product. MLB Whip Around coming up next at the top of the hour as soon as we're done here in Vegas.
Cut the deficit to 3 with a strike here.
Huge loft. And
are you kidding me?
Mine wouldn't go down. His brother Jonathan can't believe it.
Yep, one of the worst breaks I've seen probably since the 7-10 pocket splits from Belmonte. This is a great shot and
oh my goodness,
solid 9. Unreal.
Yeah, the crowd is watching the replay. Ditto for Jacob.
Yeah.
Don't let it phase you, kid.
Not over yet, but I'll tell you what. Buttrick's in a good spot right now, Rob.
Sure is.
The money, the format, the prestige, the career-defining moments of major championships on the PBA Tour. This young man here looking to win his first. He's been so close.
You talk about tour title wins, but you brag about majors.
And again, a little trouble on the right lane for Jacob. What could have been if Holloman struck in the 8th.
And again, it's Jacob ending on the right lane as well.
Yeah. He's missed the pocket the last 2 shots on that right lane.
Dropped a wow there as well. He's surprised by his struggles as he tries to take down the 3-9. Handled 90% of the time on the tour.
We talked about his back issues. I mean, this guy almost had to pull out of the tournament. He said it's the most pain he's ever felt in his entire life.
That was yesterday.
And he bowled with it all week long.
Told us he was walking around the casinos around 6 a.m. because he just couldn't lie down, couldn't get comfortable, just didn't want it to lock up, get tense on him.
said it hurts every shot he throws.
He can max at 239. Gets that momentum back in his camp there.
I like how poised he is right now. He's not getting all jacked. He still has a 10th frame to bowl. He's got a max score of 239.
He should be comfortable here, Randy. This is his 4th televised appearance of the season. He's been in numerous title matches.
Right.
He's won 1 title. Came early in the season in Shawnee, Oklahoma. If anybody should be nervous, it's this kid, Michael Holloman, Rookie of the Year candidate. Down 14.
Must strike. Big trouble. 2, 4, 7, and 8.
The engraver has been notified.
He's got to get the ball over into this area here. Throw the 4 into the 7 and make sure that he covers that back pin.
Good-looking cover.
He barely got that back pin out the 8 pin, and that's what makes
it so tough.
So tough. The other side of the lane for righties is a 3-6-9-10. And remember, we saw Jake Peters miss that last game. All right, here's the situation. Michael Holloman has to strike out to shoot 211 to force Jacob Buttroff to mark. How big the 8th frame was for Michael Holloman when he left that solid 9 on a 3-bagger. Nope. Jacob Buttroff.
Congratulations.
Yep. Congrats, young man. You deserve it.
Now you're looking live. USBC Masters Championship match. 4th major of the season. MLB whip around coming by in just a matter of moments. Chris Dontrell, big hurt, waiting in the wings. Michael Holloman, your 2 seed.
Attaboy.
Trying to end on a good note.
Attaboy.
But the story's going to be that man and his celebration in just moments. A lot to be proud of if you're Michael Holloman, though. First year on the tour. Had no expectations to make a show this season, much less a major, much less as a 2 seed. And here he is, the native of Collierville, Tennessee, just outside of Memphis. Had a chance to win and get into the PBA playoffs next week in Portland. He's not going to do it. He's going to miss it just by a hair. That's how you end. That's how you conclude. Send a message to the field. You're not going anywhere down the road. But step aside now, because it's this man's show. And celebrate! So close, so many times. And finally, a major heads to Jacob Buttroff's camp.
It was just a matter of time for Jacob Buttroff. He's been so close. Back-to-back runner-up finishes at the U.S. Open. Oh, by the way, there's still a U.S. Open down the road, along with the PBA playoffs. Jacob Buttroff has thrown his hat now for consideration.
Into the Player of the Year race.
Yes.
Jason Belmonte has just been served notice. His girlfriend, Rachel. So close, so many times, but all the way today for Jacob in Vegas. Kimberly with the winner.
All right, so Jacob, it's a lot of emotion I just saw out of you, but right now let's do this trophy presentation. Carl Kielick from USBC, President, please do the honors.
Jacob, on behalf of the USBC Board of Directors and our 1.3 million members, congratulations on being this year's Masters champion.
coming out of you right now. Second place finishes the past several majors that you've been in. Today, that comes to an end. Put into words what this means to you.
I'm speechless. After the second U.S. Open, it was hurting because back-to-back years, and I'm just like, am I ever going to get an opportunity like this again? And today, it all changed, and I can't thank everybody all enough for the support.
And who do you dedicate this win to?
First off, I want to say thank you to Team Ebonite International, Rob, Snelly, and Sean. This whole week, and Josh Blanchard back home. He without him, the last couple of tournaments, I don't think I would have been able to finish it off.
True friendship right there. Congratulations on your win. Major championship right there.
Tour title number 6, his first major, and that Player of the Year race just got a little bit tighter.
You say what you want about his game and the awkwardness of it, but there's one thing that kid can do, and that's strike. He knows how to bowl, and he can get it done. And now he's a major championship winner.
And it is now playoff time. Coverage begins next Monday night, 7 Eastern here on FS1. And Darren Tang survived in advance, kid. You were number 24, and nobody surpassed you today. 4 had a chance. You take a look at your round 1 matchups. Barnes versus Troop. Are you kidding me? 16 versus 17. Our good friend Dick Allen is going to be there as well. Great crowd in Vegas. As we remind you, MLB Whip Around from LA is next. Chris Myers, Dontrell Willis, the Big Hurt, Frank Thomas standing by to get you caught up on the day in baseball. But we say goodnight from Vegas as Jacob Buttroff finally can call himself a major champion. Jacob Buttroff with the win at the USBC Masters.